Hey guys, glad to be back. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, but I was trying to wait until some of the changes on 8.4 went live so I could give you some more accurate information. I'm going to be making a matchup guide series of all of the important ones that exist in the current meta. Again, I was just kind of waiting on that because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be making videos on matchups that were relevant to the current meta. And since I knew 8.4 was going to be huge, and it looks like through 8.10 it's going to be kind of big again, I'll try to get those pushed out pretty soon, just so you guys can get that information. So this is my initial reaction on 8.4. Some of the nerfs are really bad, some of them are okay, and some of them are a net positive. Overall, you have to play very differently now. So I'm going to talk about runes, talk about playstyle, and then talk about itemization changes that we can make to help ourselves in a post 8.4 world. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the rune page. So what's directly in front of you right now, this may have been a page that you would want to have run on 8.3, right? You have your core and precision, and then you have sorcery or maybe even domination secondary with something like this, or even this, one of those variances, or sorcery with this combination. Perhaps even inspiration or something. However you saw fit. For this next patch, due to the secondary changes on 8.4 and due to the range change with Kalista now being 525 range, I'm actually going to recommend a different page. So precision, you're going to run the same thing. You're going to do lethal tempo and overheal every time, and then coup de grace or cut down, depending on what you need for the game, and then either alacrity or bloodline, depending on what you need for the game. Don't ever go tenacity. Um, you can possibly go press the attack. I honestly don't think it's good enough. Um, it's buffed, so it's a little bit stronger in the early game, but I would only say it's worth doing it when your support is playing something really aggressive, or you're playing a lane that you need to kill. So if you're playing against like a Vayne or a Kog'Maw, or maybe if you want to match the power on a Draven lane or something. Otherwise, I think lethal tempo is better almost every single time. So then secondary, now as you can see, you get 5 AD and 9 attack speed. So what's nice about this is that your AD nerf doesn't feel as bad, right, if you go domination or sorcery. But I'm actually going to recommend you go resolve secondary. So the reason I'm going to recommend that is because of a variety of reasons. The primary one is that you're short range, and the second reason is that it's the matchups that were difficult for you are more difficult, and the extra resistances granted to you from resolve make them easy. So I've been trying a bunch of different things, and I tried this once, and I wanted to stick with it like right away. So instead of the 5 AD, you get 65 health. Missing the 5 AD kind of hurts, but it's not that bad. And then once you get a point in W, you're already fine, right? So it's not that bad. So in Resolve, you're going to be looking for going Iron Skin, Conditioning, or Mirror Shell, depending on what you need. I think this is really good in a lot of scenarios. This helps you, like Iron Skin helps you get through a lane against Caitlyn or Draven very easily. Mirror Shell helps you against like Brand Zyra, etc. Or even like Janna, my god. Kalista's base MR is one of the lowest in the game. And your MR scaling per level is 0.5, so you don't get MR very easily, and that's why lanes where she plays against super heavy AP become so difficult. Fortunately, you can build items like Maw of Malmortius or Quicksilver to get you MR, but this is a way to get it for you in the early game, so you don't necessarily have to buy like a null magic mantle just to survive, which is pretty convenient. Most of the time, I'd like to go conditioning. So since your power is shifted away from your level 1, right? Your level 1 and your level 2 are a bit weaker. Your all in is just as good, but your laning power is not as volatile, and your trading pattern isn't as volatile for the enemy team. They have more tools to weather the storm because you just run out of mana. And if you don't kill them before you run out of mana, they get to live. So Going this is more of a focus towards your level 6 plus and tier 1 item. When you get to 7, you barely feel the nerf anymore, right? Because you get 25 back on your end then. So then you can play really aggressive, you can play it normally. So going conditioning, at 10 minutes you get 8 armor and 8 MR. Due to the 5% bonus, and due to what you already have, it's actually 11 of both. This rune doesn't scale that well, but it gives you around 430 gold of resistances right at 10 minutes. So your one item that you're hopefully going to get somewhere between 9 and 11 minutes combines very well with this conditioning power spike. So if you have your Zerker Greaves and you have Blade of the Rune King and then your conditioning proc goes off, it's going to make you really tanky. The times where Kalista's been strongest have been when she's tanky and when she's really hard to deal with in team fights because she's able to survive for a long amount of time, right? Down in the bottom, I'll recommend you either run Revitalize or you run Bone Plating. Typically, I'll go Revitalize. Many supports have heals, shields, etc. that you'll get the bonus from. If you have a healer or shielder with you, I'd recommend Revitalize almost all the time. And then it also amplifies your lifesteal when you're low. And in the 4 or 5 games I ran this, my Revitalize actually healed me for 7 or 800 damage in like a 25-minute game, which doesn't sound insane, but you have to factor in that almost all of that healing is occurring when I'm below 40% HP. At least 2/3 of it is, most likely. So that's pretty darn good because that means there's probably at least one situation, if not two, where I could have died, but because of this, I may not have. And if it saves your life like once, it's automatically worth it. That's the same reason why stopwatch was so strong, because if it saves your life once, if you like get dove or something and then you kill them and you don't die instead, that's a huge swing in the tempo of the game. So this is going to be the page that I would say try to get used to it, try to get a better feel for it. You're going to have to take more damage now, and you're going to have to play more aggressive now to make things happen, and this kind of enables that strategy. All right, so these are going to be your items. Since you're running a Resolve secondary, it's not necessarily imperative that you go Deep Blade level 1. I think it's better to, just because then it still does give you threat. Because you can still, when you're lane, kill them, make aggressive plays, even running Resolve. It doesn't hurt you that bad. If you factor in, the level 2 trade, 65 HP bonus goes a really long way, even though you're short a little bit of AD. That's why Cold Start is like not viable, even though you have the same amount of AD as someone with D-Blade. You're missing 70 HP, so you just can't fight people. You just get chunked out and you just die. So I would say you could go either, depending on the kind of lane you're playing. It's either D-Shield or D-Blade. You wouldn't really necessarily want to go Targons. That's going to get destroyed in like a patch anyway. They're talking about changing that again, so don't consider any of those. Greaves or Tab Eyes, again, whichever you need. Don't get Merc Treads, don't get Swifties. Just don't. Then you're going to build into Blade of the Rune King, and then you're going to build into Renan still. Still your core, these 3 items right there. Past that, you're going to have to pivot to what's most important. So the Conditioning Rune is unique in that it scales with other resistances. So you could look at playing it, if you're playing as a super heavy AP team, you could look at picking up a Maw, or you can just buy your QSS third standard, right? Get your Mercurial. And you're actually going to get a couple other a couple other points of MR because of your conditioning, which is pretty convenient. It just again makes you a little bit more durable. So for your third in slot, I'd actually recommend you go either Mercurial, Ma, or Black Cleaver. BT is good, but it's a bit greedy, and it's only good against some team comps. If you need Pen, if you're looking at getting like a Last Whisper, would have been your stereotypical buy on like A3. Let's say you just need LDR. If you're in a situation where you don't need Mortal, or now your mid laner can buy a Morello, right? Maybe your mid can buy Morello, third item, which is always Grievous Wounds now, so you don't necessarily have to buy a Mortal for your team. Then you can buy a Cleaver. So the point, the main reason that you want penetration on Kalista is that you need pen to back up your rend ratio, but almost all of the time you're not actually rending until you've at least autoed 5, 6 times. So you're not going to miss the pen that much. It's inferior in penetration to LDR for sure, but it's not that bad. Um, yeah, I guess that's all I can say. It's not that bad. It doesn't hurt you that much. You have to consider that you now have 25 extra AD locked into your W. So, and compared to other patches, the 40 AD on Cleaver isn't going to feel as bad because if you would consider that you're getting Merc instead, you're missing, you're not missing any AD because you're getting 40 instead of 65. But then if you add the 25 from your W, you come out even, which is pretty good. The 400 HP works well in combination with your extra resistances that you now have. And the 20 CDR is quite good because it counters the nerf of Fate's Call on 722, which then makes your Fate's Call at rank 3 be just 72 seconds, which is pretty low for your cooldown. It's a 2-second knockup on a 70-second cooldown, which is really good for your team. So you're looking into a little bit of more utility around this point in the game. So you're probably finishing this item around the 25-minute mark, ideally, or sooner. 25 would be pretty slow, but if you're able to get it before that, you have a lot of control over the game, and you're going to be able to just end very quickly. The other thing you could look at is perhaps a GA. I wouldn't consider getting Cleaver and a GA. You're going to be tanky, like tanky AF, but you're not going to really do any damage anymore, and you're going to get outscaled really heavily. I'm not a fan of IE anymore. I don't think it's that good. You're too short range and it's too risky. It's too greedy to go IE. But that's what I would recommend for kind of an adjusted itemization. You have to factor in that you're just taking more damage now, and you're just more vulnerable to counterplay from the enemy team. I think Kalista's still fine. She still does pretty well, and I'm not having too many difficulties adapting, but you really have to change your playstyle after this 8-4 change. Alright, so that's it for today's video, guys. If you liked the video, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, concerns. If you vehemently disagree with everything that I just said, drop an angry comment in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitch. I'll leave that in the description below. I'm still offering coaching sessions for anyone that wants them. First one is free, so please email me if you're interested in getting a coaching session from me. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day and good luck in solo queue.